Well, we have reached spooky month.
Yes,
we have.
which John is very excited about, Kent.
Yeah.
John loves spooky season.
I'm thrilled. I'm just absolutely thrilled. And Josh picked a, well, I don't know if you'd call this a spooky movie.
What is this referred to as on Wikipedia?
I mean, it's a
apocalyptic horror film.
Yeah.
But it's not traditional. Now, when I think spooky, John, I don't mean like it doesn't always have to be jump scares. It
could be psychological, John.
Psychological
it could
horror.
be a mirror into the human psyche,
which is what this movie is. So Ken, all I knew about it was that there's an outbreak, and I assume it's 28 days later, right? Like I had nothing to know about it. It stars Cillian Murphy, among others, who wakes up in a hospital. Get this, 28 days after an outbreak.
Oh, crazy!
That we actually see at the very beginning of the movie because these chimps have been
infected,
pumped full of a bunch of stuff. They bite people, and off to the races we go. And so for the first however many minutes, he's kind of wandering, trying to figure out what's going on. He gets in with a group of people. They stumble upon a dad and a daughter. Then they're forming the relationship. They end up running in over the course of this movie to an army because there was this they heard it on like a radio of some sort. So they joined them, and it's not at all what they're expecting. And really, Kent, what you learn is that the monsters actually aren't the zombies. The monsters are us, the people, all along, as they're trying to do some basically they're trying to repopulate the earth with a young girl and an adult woman. And like that's going to be their game plan. And so they're trying to get away from them while also still dealing with the zombies, which we don't really see a whole lot of zombies in this movie.
Which is an insane game plan to have only a month after the outbreak happens.
What, to repopulate the earth? Yeah, these guys just wanted to,
Yeah, I think they were just looking for an excuse.
They definitely, we need children. So that is 28 days later. Now, Kent, I said this to John. I don't remember if it was on or off the air the other day. Since I knew nothing about it, I didn't know how it was shot. And so I start the movie on Netflix. And I'm like,
digital?
Did happen to my Netflix account? Like, did we downgrade from high definition to the least possible
crap definition?
And so then I paused it and I went to Wikipedia and I just scrolled to the filming component real quick. And sure enough, it was filmed on, camcorders of the era. This movie came out in 2002. So in a way, Kent, it's like, it's supposed to be immersive, I would imagine, but it's also not a documentary style. Like, we're not talking about the Blair Witch, which had that look to it, but you knew why. It's an interesting choice. Like, all these years later, it took me a little bit, I'll be honest, to get into it. Now, part of that might be because my TV is so good that it looks worse.
Brag
now.
much?
Oh, my name's Josh. I have a great TV.
It looks way worse now than it would have looked even watching it in 2002.
It's John's equivalent of the grill deck. Oh, I have a good TV.
Yeah, so I don't know. I found that pretty interesting about this movie.
And the choice was not probably artistic, right? The choice was probably almost certainly based on the fact that this was an ultra low budget movie. I mean, ultra low budget for this kind of a movie. I think its budget was like less than $5 million. I mean, it was, and it made for that size of movie, it made a ton of money. And, the way you can tell that it was an indie movie to start with was when the credits come up. Did you see it went Sony, then it went Fox Searchlight? Well, Fox Searchlight was the independent arm of Fox. Right?
Okay.
Fox Searchlight didn't put out the big movies. They put out the indie movies. And then it got ownership nonsense tied it up. Who owned the film? And it was finally got to Sony last year. And that's why it is just now on streaming.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm.
But it was ultra cheap. So you use digital photography at the time, and that was what you got was the state of the art at the time.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah, because I know that the new one, I haven't seen it yet, Ken, but I know the new one was shot on an iPhone or on iPhones. And so just hearing about that movie, I figured, that was, they were just trying to do something. And then I watched this one and I'm like, it's probably in response to how they shot the first one.
And I'm sure, I think absolutely it is now. And then
the one too was something like that too, right?
Yeah, they all, yes. And if you look at who they cast, these were not name actors when this was like Murphy's first lead and his second or third feature was Naomi Harris's, I think, first feature. And she went on, of course, she's Oscar nominated for Moonlight, and she played Moneypenny in a bunch of the Bond movies. And then Brendan Gleeson was just, look at him there and look at him now, 30 years ago. He was, a known character actor, but not the name that he is now. And those are three of your four main characters were newcomers or relatively unknown. So this came from Danny Boyle, who had directed Train Spotting and a couple others, but he wasn't a big, huge hit movie director. I mean, after this, he had Slumdog Millionaire that became huge and won the Oscar and all of that. But this was a low budget kind of movie almost in the history of zombie movies, which the others have always been really low budget movies, the good ones too.
Now, Ken, would you consider this a zombie movie? Because I know it has a lot of elements of the zombie stuff, but it's a form of rabies, isn't it? And then, now I know I'm comparing it to other movies later in the series, but it kind of goes away from the zombie thing and more of almost an evolution type of thing because of this type of virus that it's infecting people with.
Danny Boyle says it's not a zombie movie. I say it is, in the sense that they admit to flat stealing from Night of the Living Dead for parts of it, right? I mean, the screenwriter has said, I swiped this from there, no questions about it. And it is the zombie-like setup, right? And you're right on the second and third one. And isn't the fourth one going to be? This will be a fourth one that's coming out.
I'm excited for the fourth one. I think that's next year because I think they filmed them side by side, the third one and the fourth one.
Fourth one, yeah. So, how do I want to put this? I see it as zombie movie, and when I did a ranking of zombie movies, I can tell you, I just looked it up. I didn't remember when it was. This would be 10 years ago. I did the best zombie movies, and I had Night of the Living Dead, which is the original first one, George Romero, 1968, and then Dawn of the Dead, which is Romero's second one, and then I had this one number 3. And I had it number 3 in part because it revitalized the genre, and it made some important real changes that have made the genre go better, including the fact that before this, the zombies all moved like this. And these zombies are fast, and you can kill them, right?
Really pissed off.
And they're really pissed off. And so it added that element to the zombie and the way it was filmed. So I have it at number 3. I had it then, and I can't think of another zombie movie in the last 10 years that would go above it to me.
John, you've always said that you do not like zombie movies or shows. What is it about the genre that you find off-putting?
I don't know. I don't know. I never have. I just, for whatever reason. And Night of the Living Dead, what year was that, Kent? Do you remember?
First one, 1968.
Oh, okay. So that's before I was born. I mean, it's one of those. I've always known
it was remade. It's been remade a couple times. You probably saw a remake.
Yeah. It's just never appealed to me. Usually a lot of dystopian films don't.
Interesting.
For whatever reason, I suppose the only dystopian film, if you want to call it that, would be like the Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm. That you liked.
That I like.
So when you say dystopian, are you lumping like post-apocalyptic type of movies?
Yeah, I mean,
so even like your Mad Maxes, you didn't. Really
No. Mad Max was okay. Mad Max, I like Mad Max.
Okay.
The Mel Gibson and the one we reviewed, Fury Road, which was good. I liked those because there were elements of reality in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
With this, it's to me anyway, it doesn't feel that way. So it just, something like this wasn't going to work for me. The question I wanted to ask for you, Kent, was obviously they shot the movie the way they did because of the budget, but as someone who saw it in the theater, was it harder to watch just because it's on a bigger screen and the quality is what it was?
You're probably asking the wrong person that question,
Okay.
because in our screening room back then, the screen was probably half size of the regular screen. It was like a 25-seat screening room. It wasn't.
I see. Yeah,
Wasn't
it wasn't the full
I
experience.
never saw it on the big screen that I remember, but I do remember really liking it when we saw it, and the everybody else in there not liking it, and so there you go.
What was the reason that others didn't like it? I'm curious because when you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, when you look at some of the other rankings, it rates very well.
Oh, some don't like those kind of movies, and some too violent or too this, or it's a violent movie without any question about that.
Which horror movies were out at that time that people would have kind of glommed onto a bit more in the early 2000s? I don't remember.
Well, that was, I mean, I can't, like, right after that, like, The Ring is going to come out. Like, horror was about to move into
the Grudge is about to come
yeah,
out,
we
right?
were transitioning out of the 80s and 90s
like
stuff.
The Scream type
right
stuff.
before that, the slasher movies had kind of sort of died off a little at that time, or at least become so repetitive they weren't very interesting. And this came along, and then I think you really have the real move to those Korean
Paranormal Activity,
like the scary, more
found
demon
footage,
type of stuff.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it. I thought it was fine. I think I liked the second half of the movie. I thought once they went to the castle or big house
military thing,
yeah, I thought that it went up a level there. Now, part of it too was whoever their leader, he was on a show that I loved called The Leftovers. And so that actor, I see him and I'm like, oh, I recognize that guy. And he is a really good actor. And I figured, okay, there's going to be something wrong with this dude, because that it's not just going to be hunky-dory. It's not just going to be a good time. Something is going to unfold. What is going to happen bad? And so I do find that is an interesting choice, where I did go in thinking this was going to be a more zombie movie, and I expect zombie movies to still have the interpersonal, confrontations, if you will. I didn't think that, in reality, the whole back half of the movie is peeking at what's going to happen with the regular humans versus anything that's going on outside of their doors. And so I kind of did end up liking that more than I liked the first half for whatever reason.
And that part was almost political allegory to the time of England at that time. Part of that was political allegory in there. How do I want to put this? I remember from 25 years ago, Roger Ebert's criticism of this movie, which I found really interesting, that the logic of it would be that everybody would end up dead, right? No matter what, you're going to be dead, right? That's the logic of it. But you can't end a movie like that, right? Somebody's got to live. And so
also can't be a sequel.
So he said, I wish they'd have left it ambiguous that they might die or might not, rather than
it's like a legitimately kind of happy, uplifting ending.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, though.
Yeah.
See, and I kind of liked the way they ended it, because you get the final shot of Cillian or Killian. I never know how to pronounce it. Cillian Murphy looking up, and he sees that airplane.
Killian.
And it kind of builds on that first part where they're like, oh, is this the whole world, or is it just the UK? Is it just England in this confined quarantine area? And I like that kind of world building, where the other movies do a really good job of building up to that. I don't mind that they left it so open-ended, because I think the other movies do a very good job of kind of continuing building the world that this is, while also forwarding the overall story.
Talking about the logic of it all, and obviously this was done 25 years ago. Wow. Knowing how we know diseases travel from 5 years ago, Roger Ebert's criticism is right. Everyone would have gotten it within a couple of months and the whole planet would have been infected because of, seriously.
How
Now,
disease spread.
obviously these folks don't have the
Mhm.
ability to look ahead. But what was interesting, Kent, was this was shot around the time of 9/11. And I'm curious if a movie like this, how different it might have been if it would have been shot all pre or all post 9/11, because it kind of happened right during the whole
Now,
episode.
there were a bunch of contagion type movies that came
Yeah.
out in this general era, right? And there was another zombie type movie that came out, big budget. World War Z had a zombie element to it that came
I
out
hate
right
that movie for a
at the
lot of
time
reasons.
of this one. What's that?
I hate that movie for a lot of reasons.
That movie sucks. Okay.
Yeah, it's nothing like the book. They could have done it so much better than they did. But
Book
anyway,
guy Stibbs. Ha!
the World War Z book is really cool, and they would have made it an amazing HBO miniseries or something. But they did this Brad Pitt thing instead, and it pisses me off so much.
I've never read or seen the movie, so I have no takes on it.
I can't opine about it either.
Loved it. Neither Nick or I want to watch World War Z ever
I have
again.
no,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
bad.
we're good.
I met somebody once who said they loved that movie, and they were a bad person. So
Nick ended the friendship immediately with that person.
red flag.
So yeah, it was fine. I
I
wanted more from it, honestly.
obviously I adore this movie. I love this movie a lot. I saw it for the first time probably exactly a year ago. My fiance showed it to me, so that's part
You're
of it.
engaged?
I am engaged. I have a fiance.
Huh.
But I like the music of this movie a lot. I think it's very good. I like the immersiveness of the way they shot it, and I think they did a very good job. I see this movie as a good foundation for the overall world that they've created. And each movie, I know I'm talking about the second and third
Yeah, you keep
movies
talking about
again.
the second and the third movies.
But-
You know that was gonna happen.
But I think that they build upon each other in such a very cool and unique way that you don't see in a lot of horror movies or series like this. I think they does a very good job of one asks the question, the other kind of answers it, but asks another question. Then they just kind of keep building those bricks and layers on top of each other. And they get really goofy, which I'm glad that they're not afraid again to get goofy with it, especially in the new movie. There's some goofy things that happen that will carry over to the next one. I really like this movie a lot. And I know you mentioned the thing about, everybody would be dead, or the review that Robert Egert had. But the second movie also kind of does a very good job since we lived through the pandemic. I think the second movie does a good job of kind of predicting how people act in that situation too. And again, I know the second movie isn't this movie, but it kind of goes on to the first movie asks the question, and then the second movie answers it in a way that makes sense. And at the end of the day, I like that this movie is more about how humans react in this situation while this stuff is happening in the background, and less about the actual thing that's happening.
Well,
No.
that is 28 days later. Go ahead, Kent.
Oh, well, he just mentioned the music. Danny Boyle's movies are known for great soundtracks. He did Train Spotting. He did that Yesterday movie about the Beatles, or you wake up and the Beatles songs and nobody else knows them.
Right.
He did the miniseries for, I believe it was Hulu. I'm guessing I might not be one of those. I think it was Hulu, on the Sex Pistols, called Pistol. And he's done lots of music related stuff. So his movies always have great soundtracks.
That's probably part of the reason I like it too. I'm a sucker for a good soundtrack.
You are music pilled.
I like music.